Welcome back, guys, to another episode of the Rap and Wrestle podcast. You know me, I am Derek. You can follow us on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, iTunes, YouTube at Rap and Wrestle. Today is a very special day. Got a very special guest with me, the Black Pope himself, the new NWA Television Champion, Elijah Burke. How you doing today, man? How's it going?
Oh, man, everything is good in the hood, as we like to say, where Pope comes from. But it's another day above ground, if you understand what I'm saying. So it's a perfect day to be here.
Yeah, definitely. Pleasure to have you on. Very excited. I know you're very excited as well. You know, the newly crowned NWA Television Champion. Can you just, there's names like Jake Roberts, Kevin Sullivan, Tony Atlas. How does it feel just to be a part of that, exclusive list of guys who have held that prestigious title?
Well, it actually means the world to me. It actually means the world. Understand what I'm telling you, okay? It means that much, because when you talk about the NWA Television Championship, and certainly during the time of NWA's height, when they were at the pinnacle of what the NWA would become and what it still remains in the history of professional wrestling. When you talk about the likes of those who you mentioned, but then you go a little further up and you talk about, once the transition happened from Mid-Atlantic to NWA and to WCW and whatnot, you talk about Dusty Rhodes. That's the first person that I go to the list on because of what he meant and what he means to me to this very day. Yeah. But then you also have to talk about the guys that made that title, or the guy that made that title what it is, and that's Double A. Arn Anderson. Yes. And then, to be working alongside with the resurgence of NWA Power, and to be working alongside and sharing a locker room with Nikita Koloff, another guy who held that title. The title is very prestigious because everybody that has held that title is and was a major player in the game of professional wrestling, in the history of professional wrestling. The NWA title was so prestigious that it was the title that everybody gunned for, that everybody wanted to hold. That title was only second to Ric Flair holding the Globe title, and then later on the Big Gold. So it's very thrilling to be able to now be listed in that category. And what I plan to do is to take that title, and because oftentimes people get a hold of a title and it loses its luster, such as was the case with Ziggy Dice. You understand? Yeah. You go, wait a minute. What is this guy? So kudos to him and to the pandemic that put him, made him a champion for as long as he was, because certainly that would have never been the case and never would have happened without the inclusiveness or the inclusion of the pandemic. So he has a lot to be thankful for when it comes to the pandemic coming aboard. But I plan to make that title the title is obviously made, but I want to take that title and put it back to the forefront of things in the NWA.
Yeah, no, and definitely have a lot of faith that you will definitely do that, just knowing and seeing who you are for sure. And NWA as well has just had, like you said, a great resurgence, and there's a lot of great things going on in NWA, and you being a part of that is just a big boost to that as well. One thing about you that I've always loved about you since I first saw you wrestling, is you are, I would probably say, hands down, one of the greatest talkers in the business today. Is there anyone that you give credit for that, or is that just something natural gift that you've had since, whenever?
Well, that's kind of a double-edged question right there, because I always tell people, and, unless you're living under a rock, while I'm elated and that people understand and respects, and point out the capability of Pope when it comes to talking and cutting promos and whatnot. I'm also elated in the same manner when people draws the comparisons to the American Dream Dusty Rhodes. Not trying to be Dusty by a long shot, but obviously Dusty's influence shows through, my promo and through some of my work. Obviously, as I often pay tribute to him. Some of the stuff I do is straight Dusty, is from 1988, 89, and so forth, But I tell people you cannot teach one to have the gift of gab. Either you have it or you don't. You can structure a promo for someone to cut, but you can't teach someone how to cut the promo and to deliver it in a fashion, in such a way that it conveys emotion and elicit emotion from those whom you're speaking to. So when it comes to cutting promos, I took my study from the Dusty Rhodes. I studied the Ric Flair, and I didn't really have to study them because I grew up on them, the Arn Anderson and the Jake. So there are times where Pope's gonna lose his swag, and I'm just gonna drop it down a couple of notches, and I'm gonna talk to you straight up like this. So you just watch the greats, man. You watch the greats, you study the greats, and it teaches you how to give a little, how to pull back a little, and how to take the folk on an emotional roller coaster ride during the delivery of your promo. But as far as talking goes, Pope came out of the womb talking, Daddy.
Definitely, I believe that for sure. Something. You're also one of the very few that, when you do a multiple roles, like you're good at all of them. So you've done managing, you've done commentary. Of course, we've seen you in the ring doing wrestling. Is there one you prefer, or are they all just kind of like you get enjoyment out of each one individually?
I think that's key. And look, man, Derek, thank you, man, for all of the stuff that you are mentioning here. I really do appreciate it. I don't take any of the stuff you said or how you view me for granted. So thank you. Yeah. But to answer your question, man, look, I enjoy it all. I enjoy it all in its own way. Never want to, as a wrestler, you'll never want to stop performing. So wrestling is always, as far as being in the ring, being physical, that's always the first love, because you never want to leave that behind, the adrenaline rush that you get from it, even though we're in a fanless era right now for the most part. But it's just great. It's just something that allows you to exert your energy and to perform and deliver your craft in a way that is tied into an artist drawing their art. An artist will die an artist. They will never stop wanting to draw or convey their thoughts on a piece of paper or a mat or whatever it may be, because that's what they love to do. So we as entertainers in that ring, we're the same way. We're artists. And that's why you see some of the guys like Demolition today, who don't need to wrestle one bit, but they're wrestling. Hacksaw Jim Duggan, we know his story. But when you see guys like that, you're going to die that. When you love this business, you're going to die, doing this business. You never want to truly walk away from what you love, and you're going to want to paint. You're going to want to go out there and paint on that canvas and create art so that people can have enjoyment from what you've created. Yeah, but I loved it all. I loved it all. Also, I love the commentary, obviously. Look, I was taught that it's great to have many trades under your cap. So, I want to be able to in this business. I wear many hats. Down in FEW, Fight Evolution Wrestling, in Miami, Florida. Down there. I'm a matchmaker. I'm a producer. I do that stuff because that's what I love. To do commentary when I need to do commentary. I love that stuff. Because when you're in this business, you don't want to just be relegated to one role. You want to be, a jack of many trades. That's what you want to be. Jack of many trades. And that's basically what I've done and what I look to continue to do, even in the managerial aspect of things. Because if another place comes calling and they say, hey, we know you can do this, but we want you for this purpose, then great. And I think that's the cool part about being, multifaceted in those areas.
Yeah, definitely. Totally agree with that. Just like we're talking, we said you're a man of many talents, but do you possess any talents outside of the ring that don't relate to wrestling that anyone would not necessarily know that you possess?
Well, that depends. If you're asking one of Pope's future former baby mamas, then they might say differently, but
oh man.
But if you're talking about one that can be shared, then certainly, obviously everybody knows of Pope's boxing background.
Yeah.
We know of that. Pope's an artist in his own right. I still have plenty of material from my high school and college days that I hold on to, and every now and then, if I want to, draw something, I can do that. And as I've shared on my YouTube channel, Pope TV for you, that's Pope TV, the number 4 letter U. I shared a scene from backstage one day where I decided to get on the piano and belt out a little gospel tune. So Pope got the piano. I play by ear. Keyboard, organ, take your pick, and Pope can drop a couple of notes here and there too if he chooses to.
Oh man, see that's pretty impressive. I know that's not an easy trait to learn for sure. When it comes to the art, have you ever done like any of your own like logos or any artwork for T-shirts or anything like that?
In the later years, no. In the beginning stages, when I first broke in, yeah. But now being Pope and all, I can just reach out.
Yeah, of course.
I got folk that does that stuff for me now. And one of the guys' name is Andy Santos, and Andy Santos is the genius behind Dream Match Wrestling, and you can go to Instagram and find him. And we just released, as a matter of fact, yesterday at 7 p.m., we just released an exclusive limited time offer on the Pope album cover gold t-shirt to commemorate myself becoming the new NWA World Television Champion. So that's pretty cool, man. If you guys can check that out, it's going to be limited. Once they stop printing, they're done.
Yeah, that's awesome. Definitely make sure that you purchase one of those and support the Pope for sure. We talked about also your boxing background, which we all know about. You were doing boxing and then you transitioned over to wrestling in, I want to say 2004. How was that transition from you going from being inside a boxing ring to, kind of a completely different skill set of being in a wrestling ring?
Well, it was actually 2003, but you didn't know of me until 2004, so we'll take that.
Gotcha.
But it was very hard. It was hard in the sense that you were coming from a real world and going into a world of entertainment. So just the aspect, if not anything else being learned or being unlearned, the aspect of learning how to throw a work punch versus the boxing punches that I was used to throwing, and the real punches, I might add. I grew up fighting. I grew up fighting almost every day of my life, and I know you hear people say that, but no, I'm dead behind serious. I grew up fighting all the time, and becoming a boxer was just a natural progression that kind of came from that, and going over into the world of wrestling entertainment, it was just okay. I was scared to throw punches. I'm not going to lie to you. So it was hard for me to learn. I would take the dummy and I would continue to punch on those dummies and whatnot. And if I felt I hit the dummy too hard, then I know it's going to hurt, when I hit somebody else.
Yeah.
So in the early stages of my career, if you go back and watch, you'll see that I threw a lot of forearms. And I still throw forearms today, and that's not because I can't throw punches. I put my punches up against anybody in the business. But I won't throw punches because I won't waste my punches, because when I hit you with a punch, it's going to mean something.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. That definitely good thinking behind that. Have you ever?
That's psychology, brother. That's psychology.
Definitely.
Well, I mean, look at what you're watching today on any channel. Mm-hmm. Now, watch the amount of punches that are thrown, and the guy either no-sells it or barely sells it, but then all of a sudden they get chopped and they're hopping up and down like it killed them.
Yeah.
So you mean to tell me a guy can hit you in the face? I'm doing the little rabbit fingers right here, the quotation fingers. Uh-huh. He can hit you in the face and throw you off the rope. After that, there's no big deal. But you get chopped in the corner, you start hopping all the way to the other corner.
Yeah.
Because it just killed you.
Yeah.
You know why?
Why's that?
It's because the chop is real.
Yeah.
So it stings like hell. But it just tells everybody else that's watching that punch is fake.
Got you. Nah, that makes sense. That definitely makes sense. For you, have you ever, since starting wrestling, have you ever had any of that, any passion to, get back in a boxing ring and to like pursue that?
Oh, no, not at all. I hated boxing.
Oh yeah, really?
Yeah, I only boxed because it was a thrill for me. It was a way for me to let out my creative flow, if you understand what I'm saying. I was going out to the boxing ring with boars around my neck. I was going out to the ring just like Flair when I was fighting Guns and Hoses, for the sheriff's department. I mean, I had legit roles, and I have a legit role still that one of these days I might break out as a homage to my early years. I just went out to entertain the crowd.
Yeah.
I did not like hurting people. I did not like knocking people out. I didn't like that. I remember knocking a guy out so bad. Once he landed, it looked like one of those things where somebody was murdered and the police goes and they spray the paint to outline the body.
Yeah.
And I went down and I stood there with him. And I checked on him and I stayed there when the ambulance came, because I don't like to hurt people. Hence the reason, I got a charity. I love helping people. I don't like hurting people. And when you're doing the boxing, there's a real high percentage that somebody can get hurt. And there's a young man earlier this year or late last year who was boxing a friend of mine, and he took a bad blow on HBO.
Yeah.
He took a bad blow and he went down. He went into an immediate coma. And this dude had so much going for himself. Good-looking brother, smart brother, intelligent brother, great boxer, charismatic. One punch changed that man's life. Well, it didn't just change it. It changed those who loved him life, but it ended his.
Yeah. Oh, man. Sorry to hear about that for sure. With you also, when you were in the WWE, the thing they promoted were that you were, I want to say the record was 103-1. How was that really legit true that you had 103 wins and knocked out 102 people?
98-1 is the legit record.
Okay, 98-1.
But come on, 98. Something about not reaching 100, and something about that 100 that just sounds so much better. So when I got with WWE, that 98-1 just got inflated to 102-1 to be exact. So, and if you count the times where I knocked out two people in one night, certainly it's more than 102. There's time, there are times where I did these tough man fights, man, that was called Thunderdome, and it's 2-on-2 or it's 3-on-3.
Oh man,
Yeah, man. It was literally tag teaming, and then if everybody survived towards the end, then all 6 members of the team would get in. And there were times where I did knock out, 2 guys, in one fight.
Oh wow, that's crazy.
Yeah.
That's pretty.
So I'm not saying that the record is not legit.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just saying maybe they took some of my, they took some flexibility there and added in some of the other stuff.
Okay, yeah, no, that's still a legit record. So I don't think anybody should mess with you on that one.
Yeah, well, and then when you're going into something like that, I'm the type, especially back then, they knew what I was doing, but here's my VHSs, here's my fights, you know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Take a look, because they don't want to promote that and it not be legit.
Yeah, of course.
So if you're gonna go with Elijah Burke and former amateur boxer or whatever, then you want to know that you're saying what's legit.
Yeah, no, for sure. I could definitely, I won't blame them on that. Also being a part of the WWE, I think for all of us who just being fans as children, we all have that vision of seeing ourselves at WrestleMania fighting, whoever in the main event.
Yep.
What was it like to actually be a part of a WrestleMania event?
Go back, watch WrestleMania 27.
Mm-hmm.
Excuse me, 27, 23. I might have said 27 on another interview, actually. But go back and watch WrestleMania 23, man.
Mm-hmm.
And you'll see when I come down there with the new breed, once we get in the ring, man, you are going to see Matt Stryker, I think, in the ring right now, wrestling at that particular time. He's going to be in the ring wrestling, and if the camera's going to catch me, and I'm just looking behind me, mm-hmm. and I'm looking all the way around Ford Field. When you talk about the fact that here's a young guy just got to WWE a year later, he's on the second biggest WrestleMania crowd-wise, second biggest WrestleMania to date, because the only crowd that was bigger than Ford Field was the reported crowd for Pontiac Silverdome, Hogan versus Andre at that time.
Yeah.
So this particular time, we're the second largest crowd and for WrestleMania, and I'm just blown away because never in my life did I think this little Afro-headed black kid from Jacksonville, Florida, mm-hmm. would actually be walking down a WrestleMania ramp, getting in a WrestleMania ring, dealing with the press and everything that came with it. It was mind-blowing, man, and it was just something that I just, was very grateful and gave thanks to the big man upstairs for.
Yeah, definitely a great moment. I can only imagine the feelings of being there, for sure. Also, you've wrestled literally like all over the world. Do you have any place for you that's like a favorite, whether it's in the U.S. or outside of the country?
Favorite place to wrestle? No, I don't have a favorite place to wrestle. I wouldn't say that.
Yeah.
I would say that my favorite place that I went while wrestling and touring around the country was New Zealand. I had a blast over. And you know what? I'd actually say Europe. Just wrestling in the UK.
Yeah.
The fans in the UK are great, man. They're great. They're live. They're live. They're passionate and easy to you don't deal with a lot of the so-called armchair bookers over here in the States. A lot of guys in the States now, because of the internet, because of these podcasts and YouTube shows, now they feel like they know what's best for the show or what should happen. But you go over to the UK, man, they're just thrilled to have you, and they just want to enjoy it. They're not necessarily trying to hijack the show. They just want to enjoy it and be entertained. And so I do love going to the UK, but my favorite place was actually New Zealand. It's just so beautiful over there, man. The ride. I think we had like a 16 to 18-hour flight, though. Mm-hmm. But other than that horrifying experience, It was great. I also enjoyed when I went to Thailand. You know, anytime that I'm able to go to places that I'm unfamiliar with, I generally enjoy. And there's 2 more places that I got to check off the bucket list, believe it or not, and that's China and South Africa. But every state I've been to in the United States, I've been to several places around the world, and I just look forward to going to those 2 now.
Oh man, definitely. I hope you accomplish those soon. You know, something I was also very impressed with. I saw that you were a correctional officer and that you have a degree in criminal justice. Did you ever? Is there a type of career that you want to pursue, or you know, what was your reasoning behind you know, pursuing that degree?
Well, first off, don't let Wikipedia guide you in the question here, because that's inaccurate. While I was a corrections officer, I was a dual certified officer, so I became a JS. I was an officer for the Jacksonville Sheriff's Office. I never got my own. Yeah, I never got my own car because that was during my 5th year transition of going to the street. But I left and went to Ohio Valley Wrestling instead, which is crazy, right? So no, that was it. The only career that I ever envisioned having was to become a professional wrestler. That was my dream, and that's what I sought after. However, I kind of went into the law just following. I needed something to do out of high school. I was one of the youngest guys, if not the youngest guy on the force at the time. And, you know, I graduated, went to college. I graduated, started college, and just went straight to the police academy.
Oh, wow. Oh, man, that's that's pretty interesting. That's a tough job to try to pursue as well. And I only can imagine what you had to do to succeed at that.
Especially when you're seeing half of your neighborhood in there, right?
Oh, I bet that's even harder.
Half of your childhood friends coming up in there, you know, like, oh, geez, God dang it.
Oh man. Well, I mean, do you think, you know, from a policing standpoint, was it easier for you being from that neighborhood, and you know, would you feel like it's less altercations? They're seeing like, oh, you know, that's Pope, so I'm not gonna give him a hard time.
It depends. It depends. Several guys, specifically speaking of corrections right now, several guys, when they would come into jail, I always knew you would make something of yourself. You know? Yeah. I always knew you were just something about you, blah, blah, blah. So you got that type, and then you got the other type that blue is blue. They don't care how you look.
Gotcha.
You know, they don't care where you're from. Blue is blue. And some see that as a sellout because you're working and making an earnest living, and you're not committing crime and doing things that they're doing that's landing them behind bars that I have to tell them when they can eat and when they can go to sleep.
Yeah, yeah.
So it's like 50-50, you know, but once you get to the street, it's totally different because you have so much more freedom to roam about. When you're working inside the local jail or whatnot, the county jail, you're kind of stuck there with everybody. But on the street, it's a little differently, and yeah, you have more flexibility to roam your community and be an inspiration.
Yeah, definitely agree with that. You know, so outside of wrestling, you know, we kind of touched on your talents, but for you, like what does the Pope do when he's not wrestling? Like, do you have what hobbies? Is music that you like, sports, TV shows? What does the Pope do when he's not wrestling?
Well, again, if folks not doing a former future baby mama, then certainly I'm. No, I mean, it just depends who you're asking. You know, you ask them, it might be different. But other than that, man, I'm just a normal guy, man. I'm an average guy. I'm a Madden guy too. Sometimes I like to stay shut in for a day or so and don't go nowhere. Just stay in and go to my man cave and play some Madden and watch the movies and just kind of be abstract from the world and everything that's going on, especially in times like these, especially during the civil unrest. You know, it's like you just want to escape it all. I'm a big cartoon guy. I love my animation. So I'm likely to throw on a Pets or Pets 2 or Family Guy, Cleveland Show, American Dad, Bob's Burger, take your pick, you got me. So I'm one of those type of guys. I love the imagination. I love how the mind has the ability that while you're in the midst of hell, it can make you feel like you're in heaven.
Definitely. When it comes to Madden, who's your go-to team that you're using if you're playing against somebody?
Well, up until 17, when they pulled the rug from underneath me, it was Manning and the Broncos. I'm a huge Manning guy. I think he's the greatest quarterback that ever lived.
Yeah.
And we ain't got time to argue. So you saying yes, the right thing for you to do.
I wasn't even gonna go there. I just let it go.
Exactly. You Yorkers, you Jersey guys. I don't have time for that. But now we're talking about your man, and then we can agree.
Oh man,
we can agree. But we're talking about Peyton. Peyton is just his preparation, his accuracy, his ability to read a team and you have never, nor will you see another like that. We see a little bit of it from with Tom Brady when he's from time to time, but that was Peyton's go-to. But I love Peyton Manning, and I love playing with the Broncos. But and obviously you can email or tweet Kofi and ask him how bad Pope would beat him with Peyton Manning. And before that, I think I was beating him with Donovan McNabb, in the Eagles, and then I think that's who I used to beat him with. But in these later years, I just started using Peyton Manning and just killed him. And he finally got the little one win. 10 years, he gets one win, and it just so happens to be recorded. So
yeah, I know. That sucks. Man,
which was my first time playing it, and I don't play PlayStation. It was the first time playing the new Madden, and I don't play PlayStation, but I kind of was getting the hang of it. But he got me, and it is what it is. I get him back.
Yeah, definitely. So for you, I'm gonna wrap it up with this question because I saw what you were doing as well. You were talking about the charity. You're the founder and president of the Love Alive charity. Could you just tell the fans what that's about and what's your mission with that you're trying to accomplish?
Well, Derek, I appreciate you asking about that. My Love Alive charity is a charity that I started back 2011-12. As a kid, I was walking to the grocery store, and I was going to school, and there was just homelessness all around me, man. Everywhere you turn, there was just homeless people. Sometimes it was scary because, as a kid, you look at them and you think they're zombies. But to grow up and to see it get worse, not get better, is something that troubled my spirit, man. It troubled me. And as I was able to move up and make gradual increases in my life, I wanted to find a way to be the difference maker, to play my part in being different. And we see that we're in the middle of an election now, and this is election month, and we see all these people come out and say they're going to do this, they're going to do that, but somehow, some way, the homeless is always forgotten. Yeah. They're always forgotten. So I just came, one day I decided I was going to do something. It started as a PIMP movement, Positively Influencing Many People movement. And what we do with my charity, the Love Alive charity, is we cater to, we help, we assist impoverished communities, the women in the women's shelters, and just homeless individuals and families. And we gather our annual event is coming up on January the 9th, 2021. And what's so cool about this, Derek, is we don't feed them peanut butter and jelly sandwiches, cold cuts, soup. No, we feed them directly out of the local Burger King. And Burger King works side by side with us to make sure that they're bringing the food out hot. We have clothes for them. We got shoes for them. We got blankets for the guys that are on the streets. We got all of the essential needs and hygiene products for the men as well as the women and their sanitary needs. We got book bags and toys for the kids, and the book bags are filled with all of the essential tools to help them become academically successful during their school. So we just do what we can to play our part. And that's the thing that I like to say is simply to be the change that you wish to see in the world. That's a quote from Gandhi. So if anybody's listening, you can go visit love-alive.org. And I tell people, $1 makes a difference. We have 500, 400, 600, give or take people standing in a line just to receive a hot meal and to possibly obtain, something that can be useful for them. So visit love-alive.org and donate today, or you can donate by Cash App, $, the Love Alive charity.
Awesome. That's a great cause to, be combating, and I definitely salute you for that, for sure. Good thing to fight. For you personally, if fans want to, keep up with what you're doing, they want to see you keep accomplishing these great goals that you're accomplishing, where would they be able to find you on social media?
Well, Daddy, unless you want me to start rapping right here, I'll try to hold it down and keep it quick. But no, I only say that because I appreciate you for asking, man. So anybody that wants to follow your boy Pope, do so at the Black Pope on Instagram and Twitter, at DA Black Pope. You can follow me on Facebook, facebook.com/Elijah Burke, my real name. Also, if you want to follow my charity, you can do that, the Love Alive charity, on Instagram and Facebook, as well as Love Alive Inc. on Twitter. Guys, I appreciate you. If you come over and check me out, hit me up, let me know that you heard it from RapnWrestle podcast, and I'll be sure to make you a priority as well. And head over to YouTube, Pope TV for you. Pope TV, the number 4 letter U. I got some cool videos over there you guys will surely enjoy.
Awesome. Well, Elijah, the Black Pope, I am so thankful for you to do this for me and to come on and, answer my questions. I really appreciate you taking this time out and joining me on this show, man.
Well, I tell you what, man, I thank you for having me. I also thank you for taking the time out to not just tell people about the Love Alive charity, but to also play a part in being the difference in what you wish to see in this world by donating to the Love Alive charity. So we appreciate you for doing that very much, Derek.
Definitely. Definitely make sure you guys, donate, help out for this great cause. Make sure you follow the Pope. Check out all the great things he's doing. I know there are plenty more great things ahead for him for sure. For me, you can follow at RapnWrestle on iTunes, YouTube, at Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. Make sure you follow, subscribe, like, all that good things. And for this episode is Derek with the Pope, and we both are out.